Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a recap of my March 2023 makeup rehab update. So essentially I'm going to be recapping with you anything that I purchased in March of 2023 and whether or not I believe it was worth the purchase, as well as any PR that I brought into my collection, kind of going over whether or not I feel like it was worth bringing into my collection. Sometimes I feel like with PR, it's easier to just like bring things into your collection that maybe you don't necessarily have a particular use for, or really it's not that valuable to your collection, but because you received it in PR and you're excited about it, you add it, blah, blah, blah. So I have not that many products to share with you guys in today's video. I feel like historically March, I don't spend as much money because typically we're leading into the Sephora VIB sale right at the beginning of April. And usually I'm just like building my cart throughout the month of March, but I have 2 eyeshadow palettes, a few PR products, and then I did have 2 purchases because I believe the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty was going on during March of 2023. Tom does a monthly series like this, and they are who gave me the inspiration to do this series myself. Typically in the past, I've just done like a full year recap. So if you are interested, I will leave them linked down below in case you're interested in checking out their videos. Highly recommend. I think Tom is so entertaining, so definitely go check out their channel. But if you're interested in my recap of my March 2023 PR and makeup products that I purchased, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content, palette themed content, or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Okay, I'm not sure what was going on with my hair part at that introduction, so we're feeling a little bit better about the way the hair is parted. It's still not perfect. Anyway, you guys, I'm gonna start with PR products, as well as I had one product. My sister, I talk about this all the time, my sister and I will, like, every time we see each other, bring makeup along and kind of like trade makeup back and forth. So I'll actually start with the one product that I got from my sister in March of last year, and it is this LH Cosmetics blush duo. It's the Duo Dimension, I believe in the shade Area. This is what this looks like. I actually got a ton of use out of this winter, like this December, January. And I definitely don't think that this blush duo is going to be for everyone. And this is definitely like, these shades are not something I get like year-round use out of. They're definitely very cool toned, and both of them have a pretty strong sheen to them. They're not like glittery, but they are glowy. So if you like a matte cheek color, or if you only like matte color cosmetics, this duo is definitely not going to be for you. But I do really like the formula, and I do feel like it gives a really beautiful flush to the cheeks without making my cheeks look textured or anything like that. For me, it's really the shades within this duo that are limiting me from use the most. Like if there was like a nude blush shade in this, like straight up just like a warmer nude or like a coral, I feel like I would be using this even more. I'm not exactly sure how much these retail for. I think like the mid 30s. So I don't think I would specifically seek out another blush duo, but if I was ordering from LH Cosmetics website and there was like a duo with 2 shades that I feel like I would use, I would pick this up again. I think the formula is really beautiful, but definitely not like my most used makeup product in my collection. However, I am happy that I decided to bring this into my collection, and it's something that will stick around. Okay, and then for the PR that I brought in March of 2023, Kaja sent over a PR package, and within that package there were 2 of there may have been 3 actually, but I just have these 2 of their Kaja stacks, which, let me tell you, I really enjoyed the Kaja stacks like when I first started trying them, and then I kind of fell out of using them. But Kaja sent me quite a few stacks over the last year, and I have re-fallen in love with these stacks just because they're so easy to travel with, or if I just need like an overnight bag, like if I'm going to my mom's just for 1 or 2 nights, they're so easy to just pack along, toss in, and they give you a really quick, simple, easy look. So I have Forest Night here, which is a darker like smoky brown. It has one of those like really chunky, sticky textured shades on top, which is really beautiful. And then they also sent over oh my gosh, it was a different peach one, but my daughter broke that one. And sometime last year they sent over Peach Madeleine, which I also really love. So I just wanted to like shout that out. I definitely think bringing the Kasha stacks into my collection were worth it. I do get a lot of use out of them in terms of like traveling. They're not my most frequent everyday reach, but when I'm traveling or for an overnight bag, which I do go to my mom's multiple times in a month for like an overnight, they're super useful for that. And then they also sent over their wing stamp set, which I believe it was the second time I had gotten their wing stamp set. And I actually just have the liquid liner portion of it at this moment because I have used up my wing stamp. So the wing stamp was essentially a thicker liner and it had a stamp that you could stamp a wing on, and I found that product so useful. I've recommended it many times on my channel. I just haven't gotten around to repurchasing, and I'll be honest, I still, even with that product, don't find myself gravitating towards doing a wing all that frequently. It's not something I feel confident in wearing to work. So if I were to do a wing, it would likely just be on the weekend, and oftentimes on the weekends I'm like doing quite a bit of filming, and I'll like do a makeup look and then I get nervous to add a wing because I'm like, well, what if I screw up my whole look? So having the wing stamp definitely helped, and it's something that I do plan to purchase again because it's a nice product to have around for those times that I am wanting to add a wing. It gives me a little bit more confidence to do so just because it helps me like stamp it out. And I used the product up to the point where it was dried out. So obviously I enjoy it. I've gone through 2 of them. Again, something I definitely would be purchasing, something I definitely would be interested in purchasing in the future, just haven't yet purchased it. And this liquid liner I use just about every day. I will say I have liquid liners I prefer over this one. I've been really enjoying the Hindash one because it is so fine. It's such a fine tip. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but the tip just is a little bit wider and a little bit thicker, which, again, I'll remind you guys, there is a time and a place where I like something to definitely be like the thicker, the better. When it comes to my winged liner, that is not the case. The thinner, the better in that situation. Anyway, I also like the NYX Epic Ink if you're looking for something a little bit more affordable, but I'm still getting use out of it. All right, I actually only purchased 2 eyeshadow palettes in the month of March, which is honestly a Christmas miracle because I feel like minimum I'm bringing in like 4 or 5 palettes. So the 2 eyeshadow palettes that I brought in March of 2023, the first one is from Glaminatrix and it is the Nocturnal palette. So I had purchased the Nearly Natural palette, fell in love with it, and this is something I had been eyeing for quite a while last year. And after falling in love with the formula in the Nearly Natural palette, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna purchase the Nocturnal palette. Now, this is definitely this is giving like grungy Halloween vibes to me. I do think it is a really fun color story. This is what it looks like. I definitely find myself gravitating more towards just the like special multi-chrome or duochrome shades in this palette. I think Milky Way is beautiful, Night Vision, Luna. Constellation isn't like my most used, but even like Dusk is so pretty. The few times I've played with the mattes in this palette, I definitely tried to do too much with too much color, and I will say like I got a little bit of murkiness. Now I am really excited to play around with this again, probably more again towards like fall Halloween time. But I do, like I said, really enjoy like the duochrome shades. I'm not mad to have this in my collection. It's not my favorite palette of all time, but I do believe that these pans are magnetic as well, so I could always like rearrange or just take out, like build my own palette using some of the special shades if that's what I'm wanting to try and get more use out of the special shades. So not my favorite eyeshadow palette I've ever used, but happy to have it in my collection, and I do think it was worth bringing in. And then the second eyeshadow palette that I purchased was the Too Faced Italian Spritz eyeshadow palette, and I am so pleased with this purchase. It had been quite some time since I had brought in, I believe, anything from Too Faced, let alone like a Too Faced eyeshadow palette. But this is like the best quality eyeshadow formula I have tried from Too Faced, that at least that I can recall. I love the color story, especially like I believe I got this at the tail end of March, so like coming into spring, I just feel like this color story really made me happy. I had so much fun creating all of the looks that I did with this eyeshadow palette. I believe I created like 5 or 6 looks, and it was really hard for me to choose a favorite. I love the like warmer shades in this, but then there's these like really fun blues as well. And I just think it's such a fun, unique color story. There's some different textures and tones, especially amongst the like shimmer and metallics. Like there's some that are thinner and more of a lid topper, and then you have some that are more of that chunky, sticky metallic that are really punchy on the eyes. So I'm very, very pleased with this purchase. This is something that I recently was getting so excited to pull back out around this time of year, just because I remember having such fond memories of some of the looks that I created with this palette last year around this time. So I'm excited to bust this back out, and I'm very happy that I made this purchase last year. Okay, and then the only other purchases that I made last March were two that I picked up during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, and one of the products I've actually already used up, so I just grabbed this to remind me. This is the Benefit Precisely My Brow, but it was actually the Benefit Goof Proof that I picked up during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. And the Goof Proof has more of like the thicker, wider, triangular tip, and again, sometimes thickness is just not meant for makeup. It's meant for other better things. And so the Goof Proof just wasn't like, it was not my favorite. I definitely prefer the Precisely My Brow because I like a thinner brow product. I am someone who mostly just uses a brow pencil to like trace my brows, and then I fill in with a brow powder. Although I will say the Goof Proof was really quick to like fill the brows in. So if I'm wanting to like be quick, the Goof Proof worked really well. I obviously didn't declutter it, like I used it up, but it's not something I personally would repurchase. And I will say I do think it was worth the purchase because I purchased it at half off, just to kind of know like whether or not I liked it. I feel like so many people talk about all of the Benefit products, so just to kind of have an understanding of which products I personally prefer for how I like to do my makeup, I feel like it was beneficial for that. Had I spent full price on it, I don't feel like it would have been worth over $20 personally for me, because again, it's just not my favorite type of brow product. But I'm happy that I was able to try it for half off and know that it's not something that I personally need in my brow routine. And then the other product that I purchased was the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. I got mine in the shade Poppy, and it is what's on my lips today. I put it on today so that I could kind of remind myself of my feelings and thoughts on it. And this is what I will say. Again, I'm happy that I got this for half off. If I had purchased this for full price, I don't necessarily know that I would have thought it wasn't worth the money, but I also just, part of it is the shade. It is like not just like a pale nude lip. Like if this was a nude, I would consider, if it's on sale for half off again during 21 Days of Beauty for Ulta, I would purchase like a pale pink or a nude for the summer, because I think it's a beautiful formula. It makes my lips look a little bit juicier, a little bit more plump, shiny, etc. But because it is like a little bit thicker, I worry about a shade like this just getting outside of my lip lines, especially if I'm not like looking in a mirror and I'm just wanting to like reapply. That's what I worry about with this. I also do just feel like y'all know what I'm gonna say. Lawless Forget the Filler is definitely preferred over this, but I think I want to try this in, like, I feel like a pale nude pink would be so pretty. I do like the formula. I just think it's a little bit thicker, a little bit more finicky. With this packaging, it's one of those that you have to like push up to use, and I have heard specifically Kelly Gooch talk about like her packaging being faulty, so that would also just be a bummer. I have no idea how much product is actually in this, but I used it quite a bit last year. It's just, for me, it's the shade. It's not my favorite shade, although I do feel like this could be pretty in the summer. Anyway, I think this was worth, especially buying it at half off, because I was very, very curious. Obviously, this is a very viral makeup product, or at least was, and so I'm happy that I know, but I wouldn't purchase a bright shade again. I would potentially purchase a pale pink and see where we go from there, but I also would just be so happy with my Lawless Forget the Filler that my makeup collection could potentially do without this, you know? That being said, you guys, though, those were all of my products that I purchased in March of 2023. I don't think there was any like real outlying terrible decisions like there was in my January and February recap. I will leave that one linked down below in case you're interested or missed that one, but you know, we did pretty well. I wouldn't say it was like my most exciting month of purchases. Like, it wasn't like aside from potentially, like, I really did love the Too Faced Italian Spritz. Aside from that, it wasn't like any outstanding favorites came into my collection in March of 2023, but it wasn't a total bust of a month either. So I would love to know what you purchased last March and what your thoughts are a year later. Let a girl know in the comments below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.